Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 of this picture from Moon Valley by Maria Trolle, being coloured in Polychromos pencils. Now I thought we would do a little bit of the leaves today, just because there are so many that if we don't get on and do some, then it's going to get a little bit dull having to do all of them all at the end, for example. I rather like the olivey greens that we started with, the May green, that sort of thing, as you probably know. And I'd quite like to continue this area with these colours. So I thought that I would come in a little bit and just do a base colour on all of the leaves with the May green. And then we can change them all up depending on, you know, we can change them with a few other colours. I thought it might be nice just to get a sort of big area of green done and just work away at it. So that's what I'm going to do. And then, so there are going to be blank areas behind, which I'm not going to colour in. I'm actually only going to colour in the shapes that have been drawn in. And then the bit that hasn't, so sort of this space here for example, I will leave and do in a dark colour, I think, to sort of make everything stand out. I've got to be a little bit careful here. It's got a butterfly. I don't want to colour him green, or her. Hands up if you think butterflies are all girls. I do. And ladybirds, they're all girls too, aren't they? No? Okay. Now, I've got a line there and there. I think there is a line there. That's right. Got to keep a little eye on the time because, oh, quite early. I thought it might be cooking time, but it really isn't. Quite early. But I've already planned what we're eating. We're going to have a pasta. So that's good, makes it easy to, I don't have to think. I've got all the ingredients I need, aubergine, pepper and courgette, which I fry up to pop in the sauce. I would do onions and garlic and things, they're delicious, but I just can't eat them. And then we've got our home meal pasta, of course. We have about 30, between three of us we do 100 grams. The pasta isn't the biggest component of the meal. It's actually the veggies. And what we do is we get a tin of cannellini beans, and my son will blitz them in my food processor to make a sort of sauce. And then we'll add, trying to work out what's going on here, I'm just going to guess. And then we will add tomato paste to that sauce and add it to the pasta. I would also personally, we put a stock cube over it too, just to add a bit more flavour. But personally, I would also add, oh, we've got some flowers here, we mustn't colour over, herbs. But my son says they're revolting and he refuses to eat anything with them in. Well, he would eat it, but he moans. They're both very good at eating, the boys. They'll eat anything, but they'll moan. And so I tend not to cook things I don't like, just as respectful, isn't it? So yes, we won't have herbs in it, but I'll add some black pepper probably, which we rather like, and that'll be our tea. I like to cook from scratch, but I also like to keep things quite simple. My stomach can't tolerate lots of things anyway, but I was brought up with very simple cooking. We would have usually something like a burger, sausages, piece of chicken, fish fingers, fish cakes, usually with some boiled or mashed potato, and then some carrots and peas and sweet corn, or some I'm just going to sharpen my pencil, or we might have there's a leaf in there. Or we might have, hang on, see that one comes down low. It's that one low, this is a leaf. Or we might have baked beans, Heinz baked beans. And that would be, well, we didn't eat Heinz, we'd have a supermarket in brand. Or sometimes we would have spaghetti hoops, or if we were really lucky, we would be able to have alphabetti spaghetti. Now, if you don't know, you don't. If you know, you know. Delicious, but we didn't have that because there was no own brand of that, so it was very expensive. I don't know who made it and whether you can still get it, but yeah, so that's what we would have. And then on a Sunday we would have some sort of meat, beef, lamb, chicken, with roast potatoes, Yorkshire pudding if it was beef, and gravy, and then cabbage and carrots usually, but I only like the roast potatoes. I didn't like cabbage. I do now, and I would eat the carrots and the potato. I didn't like the meat either, so I always hated a roast dinner. Now I love them, but I don't put meat in mine. I will make some sort of bean bake or something. Delish. So yeah, so being brought up with we didn't really eat a lot of onion. We never ate garlic, it just wasn't a thing. We did as we got older. This was as younger children. We wouldn't really have we wouldn't have pasta apart from tinned ravioli occasionally. We would have tinned ravioli on toast sometimes, or macaroni cheese on toast out of a tin. My mum really hates pasta, so that's possibly why we didn't have it very often, but I'm not sure really. It's something I loved as I got older. We very rarely had rice unless it was a pudding, rice pudding. And even now my mum says that she thinks rice is for puddings, because that's how she always had it, which is quite interesting. Yeah, that's about it really. We didn't have a big variety. My mum, when she was growing up, that's what they had, and that's what she cooked for us, sort of thing, And in the evening we would have a little tea, so we'd have sandwiches or something on toast, baked beans on toast, or tuna fish sandwich, or cheese ham sandwich, something like that, So it was quite plain and simple, and that's probably why my cooking is similar. Although I do like to add some stock cubes for flavour. I usually have a sauce. If we have a stir fry, we don't. But I never cook the sort of things you cook. It's so rare for me to cook a roast. I do it for Christmas, and I usually do it for a few times leading up to Christmas to practice, so I can remember how to make good roast potatoes. But no, we really don't eat potato, and I used to grow up eating it every day, so it's quite interesting. But I find it doesn't give me a lot of energy. It makes me feel very hungry after I've eaten it, so I don't. I don't know if you're colouring along. There's not a lot of exciting colouring, is it? It really is just a colour and chat. It's I colour and chat, and you just watch, and it's not very entertaining. But anyway, and I'm talking food because I'm getting hungry. It's only 3:30. Oops, it's a little bit early to be thinking about food, isn't it? But never mind. Happens to us all. So, getting there though. Yeah, I even had a snack this afternoon because I was hungry. Well, a couple of oatcake biscuits. They were just the the savoury ones that, you know, you just have is basically oat flour and water and a bit of salt, really plain. I don't, I try really hard not to eat ultra processed foods anymore. I honestly feel that they are the reason that everybody's, you know, we're all struggling, that everybody's ill, that, well, not everybody's ill, but, you know, people are ill, and I honestly think that they just aren't good for us. Yeah, I'm not saying that people are bad for eating them at all though, because they are delicious. I absolutely love chocolate, I love crisps, I love biscuits, I love cake, I love ready meals, pizza, you know, I don't eat any of it, I can't eat half of it anyway, but, you know, it's delicious. And I can absolutely see people who say, well, life's short, I'm just going to have what I want, when I want, it's delicious, and that's it. But if the government made it a little bit more expensive and made healthier food cheaper, it would be much easier to make the correct decision. But we have got elections coming up, and I've been looking through all the parties' manifestos, and absolutely none of them have any decent preventative health measures. I just think it's rubbish, you know, nobody. And I lobbied our previous MP about it, and he just came back with some pathetic things. I lobbied our current MP about it, who didn't come back at all. So it's like, oh, so it's just frustrating, you know. If we can have healthy youngsters who know how to cook, not only know how to cook, want to cook, understand the benefits of cooking, learn how to make food delicious as it's very difficult to make it as delicious as big companies. And why is that? Well, they put all sorts of chemicals into their food to make it more addictive and more tasty. Lots of sugar, MSG, salt, those sorts of things which our bodies love. And so when food's got it in, we want to eat it. But obviously too much is not good for us. And I really, really, really think it's not our own fault that that our diets are so bad and that we need help. And I know that our campaigners campaigning for it. Oh, that's the doorbell. I can hear someone going. Good. I'm not going to go this time. Yeah, so there are campaign groups trying to help, but they just aren't big enough. That's one of the things that I would do if I had loads and loads of money. I would support these sorts of groups to try and help people be healthier, help people make, you know, as much as I would love to just ban all junk food, etc., that's a little unrealistic, and people get cross at having their liberties taken away. But at least if they're more expensive, and it's that, you know, that would help. Right, we're getting there. Now, oh, I'm just doing this bit behind here. We're almost there. And it will help us to see what's going on with our picture as a whole. I can now see where we've got mushrooms, where we've got window and door, where we've got sort of background areas. You know, it's helped to just bring everything in really, so that we can see what's going on. I find this sometimes it's more helpful to do the background first to help with this sort of thing, but with this particular design I thought it would be easier to do the leaves. Now I may have missed a few, but that is pretty much all the leaves done, I think. I'm just having another look. Now my plan is to make the background darker so they all stand out. Because it's spherical, it's very tempting to make it darker around the edge, lighter in the middle, so that it gives us a more spherical feel. It's really hard. I'm not going to do it. I am just going to get the chrome oxide green and do the bits behind the leaves. Okay, so where our girl is sitting, for example, in here, like that, and here, and we can just, there's a bit of leaf I missed there, so I'm going to just colour that in and here. It was going to happen, wasn't it? I was going to find bits I missed. And we just work through colouring this back area. And the reason I'm doing this next, rather than giving the leaves some depth with a bit of extra colour, is because I want to make sure that I don't make those leaves so dark they disappear into this background. So I thought it would be more sensible to do it next. Like that. There we go. It's sunny now. Well, bright anyway. It's raining earlier. My sister's just packing to go on holiday, and the forecast is rain nearly every day. And then the week she gets back, my parents go on holiday. We're not going anywhere. My husband has just booked his holiday though, first 2 weeks of July. Wimbledon fortnight. Interesting choice. He said, oh well, we can go out in the morning and then you can watch tennis in the afternoon. I'm like, and I'm going to work when? I will see what happens. I will try and get lots done beforehand. He hasn't given me a lot of notice, but that's okay. I just wanted him to make sure he used his holiday. So I always had this idea that people who work part-time like he does now didn't get holiday. I don't know why I thought that, but he does. That's good. What's going on here? I've missed a bit of that. I'm just going to sharpen my May green, it's a bit blunt. Now, that's okay there. I think that's all background. It's here, isn't it? What's that loop there? I think that is a bit of that plant, and that is also a bit of that plant. There we go. That's how I think it works. There we go. And it might be that I persuade him to have a walk in the evening rather than the morning, because in the evening I'm not really up for making videos because I'm tired, although I did one the other day, but I did feel tired. And my voice sounds tired as well, if you know what I mean, but I just don't have so much energy in the evening. Not surprising really. I'm a morning person. So that's that. I guess I could make videos first thing in the morning before he gets up. He doesn't always get up very early. That could be a little way around it. I shall keep pondering. I shall come up with something. But it probably mean there won't be any well, there might be swatch charts actually. I might be able to do those drawing while I'm watching tennis. We'll see. I don't know if we need any more anyway at the minute. We need some Black Widows ones, that's for sure. I did promise you those, and I might have done them already, I don't know. Don't know, recording in advance. I'm not quite sure what's been happening. Now here we've got no joins. I'm leaving this all open, but it might look a little bit odd. And we'll see when we've done the rest how I might just have to sort of put some in. You can sort of begin to see how it's making the leaves look like they're standing out from the globe sphere. Why do we have so many words for the same things? And then sometimes there just isn't the right word. We have a strange language, don't we? My son's always saying how complicated it is. He watches a lot of different things on YouTube, when people trying to learn English and having questions about it, things like that. But and you can tell when someone's not a native speaker just by the way they do certain things wrong. The thing that he fascinated me with the other day, I hope you might find it interesting too, quite a while ago actually we were talking about it, is that the order of adjectives. So adjectives being like green or large or whatever. So if you've got a large pencil and it's green, do you say it's a green large pencil? Or do you say it's a large green pencil? You say it's a large green pencil, don't you? Why? Why is that right? I've got no idea. None of us knew. And then in some languages, the order is different. So people might say things in a different way, which is quite interesting. So if any of you know other languages, not just English, tell me whether you would you say green large pencil? And why do we order it that way? It's just about the way it sounds and feels. It's very strange that it feels odd, And also with our sort of sentence construction order, like in French, you might say he played with the dog Brown. Or in German, I don't know. You would put the sentence in that order, whereas we would always put the adjective before the noun. I find it very interesting. That we have these differences. It's not just that the words we say are different, it's the way we order them even is different. And of course English is so many strange exceptions to it, makes it very difficult. Even when English children are learning, like my children used to say things like sheeps, the plural of sheep, they thought were sheeps. I mean, why wouldn't you? And they would say the plural of goose is gooses. Perfectly acceptable mistake. Or they would add ed to some words that didn't, you don't add it to. Can't think now. So it was very interesting, but I corrected them and they very, very quickly learned that that wasn't correct, that wasn't the way. Of course they learn by repetition, listening and repeating what you say to them. So, some people do make grammatical errors when they speak. It's also that we use language slightly differently when we write and when we speak, which I think that's probably the same in most places. And we also we don't have really formal versions of things which other countries do. So if you were speaking to royalty or dignitaries compared to speaking to your friend, you wouldn't use a different form of you, for example. In French, I think there's a polite you, is it vous? And then an impolite you, which is tu, I seem to remember. We don't really have that. You know, you would still say, how are you? Whether you were speaking to King Charles or whether you were speaking to your partner or your friend. Well, you probably wouldn't say, how are you, to your friend. What would we say? Maybe we would. Some people aren't quite so formal with their friends in that they wouldn't. How are you doing? I might say. Or I've heard someone go how do before. It's quite interesting. I don't know whether that was just their own made up word or whether it was a dialect from a different country or different part of the country or something, although she was from the same town as me, but her parents may not have been, you know. So anyway, interesting. I also find it quite interesting that we tend to pick up each other's accents and language use because it's a way of sort of socialising and bonding, but it's really hard when you do that because I think sometimes it sounds like you're being rude and mimicking them rather than trying to be kind, and it can be, you can sort of overthink it a bit, I think. I think that bit in there is this colour. Yeah, but this bit is this colour. But I think talking to so many of you guys out there, seeing comments and different things, has really alerted me to all the different ways of saying things. You know, I knew that, you know, within our country there are different ways of saying things, and obviously there are within different countries too, but there are so many different ways of saying things. It's quite fascinating. And even across our country, there are certain words that there are loads of different words for. Certain things. Apparently, I have spoken about these before. I'm going to put a little bit in here. Wood lice, they have lots of different words for them across the country. And theory has it that it's because they are small and on the ground, and children tend to see them and play with them and are fascinated with them because if you touch them they roll into a ball, like a hedgehog I suppose, or a porcupine, which is quite fun, but they don't hurt you like a hedgehog would. You know, there's no spines. I'm just looking, I'm thinking I'm going to do a little bit more in a few places here just to get a sort of edge. And anyway, because children play with them, children probably make up their own names for them. And the theory is that's why there are so many different names and why they can be so strange. Right, I am going to finish there. I'm getting rather tired, to be honest. My voice is running out. I'm getting tired of talking, actually. My husband will fall on the floor if I say that. I'm tired of talking, is my voice a bit sore. So I'm going to finish there. And next time we might concentrate on windows, doors, flowers and things, but I haven't finished those leaves. I am going to do more with them, but just not today, and maybe not next session, maybe the one after, just so that we can break it up a little bit. But we've done some good groundwork there, you know, got it going, and done a little bit longer video than I meant to, but it doesn't matter. So we've got some done. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a super day and happy colouring.